হৃদয় কেমন আছো?
Distinguished participants, good evening. We are going to start our closing ceremony and farewell dinner session arranged on the occasion of 3 days long International Conference on TVET for Sustainable Development. In the charming evening of summer, I on behalf of the Conference Steering Committee welcome you all in this auspicious session at Hotel Radisson Blue Water Garden, Dhaka. Dear audience, in our very auspicious session, Mr. Amir Hussain Amu MP, Honorable Minister for Industries of Government of Bangladesh, is presenting among us as chief guest. Mr. M.D. Shahriar Alam MP, Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs, and Mr. Nazrul Islam Khan, Honorable Secretary, Minister of Education, also present as special guest in the session. Engineer A.K.M. Hamid, Chairman Conference Steering Committee, President Institute of Diploma Engineers Bangladesh, and Co-Chairman of Sharp Diploma Engineers Forum will preside over the session. Engineer Mohammad Shamsul Rahman, Member Secretary Conference Steering Committee, General Secretary of Institution of Diploma Engineers Bangladesh, and Secretary General of Sharp Diploma Engineers Forum is also present here. Mr. Babur Ali, Director of Planning and Development, Director of Technical Education, Dr. Abdullah Talukdar, Secretary of BGEB, and Professor Dr. GK, Faculty Consultant CPSC Manila, and Mr. Arthur Ishias, Senior Consultant ILO, who is also present with us as a guest of honor. I humbly request to Chairman and Member Secretary, Conference Steering Committee, come upon dais with honorable guest.
স্যার বসতে পারেন। সাংবাদিক
সদস্য প্রকৌশলীদের অনুরোধ করছি আপনারা স্ব আসন গ্রহণ করুন।
সেটা আপনার বুঝার আমারও বুঝার আছে কি বুঝবো
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now presenting a book to Honorable Chief Guest and Special Guest by Engineer Fazlur Rahman Khan, Joint Secretary of IDB, and Dr. Mainur Rahman, Joint Secretary of IDB. Ladies and gentlemen, now I humbly request to Engineer Mohammed. Ladies and gentlemen, now I humbly request to Engineer Mohammad Shamsul Rahman, Member Secretary Conference Steering Committee, to present welcome speech. Mr. Shamsul Rahman.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to all. respected Chairman of the session and Chairman of Steering Committee of International Conference on TVET for Sustainable Development, and President, Institution of Diploma Engineers, Bangladesh, our beloved leader, Engineer A.K.M. Hamid. Respected Chief Guest, Minister for Industries, Jammuneta Alhaj Amir Hussain Ammo, MP. Respected Special Guest, Mr. Mohammad Shahriar Alam, MP, Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs. Distinguished guest of Colombo Staff College, CPSC, and CPSC's member countries delegates, SHARC Diploma Engineers Forum, SDF, Australia and UK. Representatives of printing and electronics media, dear colleagues, member engineers and learned participants. Good evening to all. I welcome you all at the auspicious closing sessions and farewell dinners arranged in honor of the participants from home and abroad, joined in a 3-day-long international conference on technical professional education and training for sustainable development. Honorable Chief Guest, special guests, and distinguished participants, we know that in the present context of Bangladesh, the development of skilled manpower is fully depends on the implementation of technical professional education and training for inclusive growth. The IDB and CPSC jointly organized the International Conference on Technical Professional Education and Training for Sustainable Development from 30 April to 2 May 2015 in Dhaka. The conference was formally inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister Janitri Sheikh Hasina as chief guest on 30 April 2015 at Osmani Memorial Auditorium, Dhaka. The delegates and participants from home and abroad passed very busy time in the last 3 days, participating in the plenary session, seminar session on thematic areas and panel discussion session on important issues on technical and professional education and training. The technical professional education and training experts, home and abroad, discussed elaborately and contribute and share their views and experiences on the issues and formulate recommendations. Honorable Chief Guest and special guests, respected participants. In the inaugural session, the Honorable Prime Minister highly appreciated the Institution of Diploma Engineers Bangladesh and Colombo Staff College for organizing the conference and remarked as patriotic initiatives of the organizer. We are highly inspired with the remarks and valuable deliberation of our Prime Minister. The Honorable Prime Minister expresses that there are no alternative without having skilled manpower for achieving national high growth and prosperity. We know that Bangladesh hardly tried to reach in the middle class income country within 2021 and developed country by 2041 under dynamic leadership of Janitri Sheikh Hasina. We strongly believe that our initiative in this respect will supplement the government efforts for achievement the goal. Distinguished guests, you know that education is considered as the key to effective development strategies. Technical and professional education and training must be master key that can elevate poverty, promote peace, conserve the environment, improve the quality of life for all, and help achieve sustainable development. Approaches to development that harmonize economic prosperity, environmental conservation, and social well-being. We therefore call for responses to globalization be harmonized rather than marginalized. Dear audience, the IDEB and CPSC are proud to be an organizer of this magnificent event that brings together international experts to deliver on the global challenges of reorienting technical and professional education and training for sustainable development. I am confident this conference will spark the enhanced technical professional education system and to disseminate international best practices to countries around the world. Let us all strive for the success of this conference. Honorable Chief Guest, you know that the linkage between the technical professional education and training institutions and the industry is an important issue in our institutions. TVET, that is Technical Professional Education and Training Curriculum in Bangladesh, for explosive economic growth of the country. For this, I would like to draw attention and intervention that the linkage of polytechnic institutes, that is TVET institutions and industries, should be increased by your kind attention, by your desire, and for this desire should for our country's development. Honorable distinguished guests, in this 3-day-long international conference, the Honorable Chief Guest of inaugural session, Chief Guest and Special Guest of different sessions, local and international experts of TVET, and discussed on conference theme and thematic areas. We are really blessed and inspired for their valuable recommendations and suggestions to improve the technical professional education and training for sustainable development. I hope that it will create opportunities to go ahead for better work with our commitments. Dear foreign delegates and friends, you have come to Bangladesh to participate in the international conference, and you were with us for the last 3 days and done magnificent work by providing recommendations which will be called Dhaka Declaration. We could not provide proper hospitality to you. I beg pardon for our lapses. We are very much grateful to all associates of the conference like Ministry of Education, National Skill Development Council Secretariat, the World Bank, Canada, City and Guilds London, Swinburne University Australia for their kind inspiration, help and cooperation. I also grateful to Directorate of Technical Education DTE, Bangladesh Technical Education Board BTEB, Skill and Training Enhancement Project STEP, and International Labour Organization ILO, the co-partners of the conference. Dear audience, you know that Institution of Diploma Engineers Bangladesh always committed to work in the national aspects. Our mission at this stage is to enhance technical professional education and training at a broader perspective and create skilled manpower for the country, as well as the developing countries as per recommendation of the conference. So I request you all, please help us to go ahead for achievement of our mission. Honorable distinguished guests, I would like to express our gratitude to the Chief Guest, Honorable Industries Minister, our great leader, and special guest, State Minister for Foreign Affairs, and distinguished guest in the chair, respected guests. We are happy for your kind presence here today. Your participation in the event will encourage us in the future to work on TVET. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Jai Bangla, Jai Bangabandhu, Bangladesh, Chirojibi Ho.
Many thanks, Mr. Shamsullah. ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to request Dr. Abdul Talukdar, Secretary, Bangladesh Technical Education Board, to say a few words. Mr. Abdul Talukdar.
Honorable Chair of this closing session, Mr. A.K.M. Hamid, President ITEB, Honorable Chief Guest Alhaj Amir Hossain Amu, Ministry of Industries, Special Guest Mr. Muhammad Shahriar Alum, State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. G.K. Professor Dr. G.K. of Colombo Staff College, Faculty Consultant, Mr. Dr. V.C. from Nanyang Polytechnic, Mr. Arthur R. Shears, Chief Technical Officer Mr. from ILO, TVET Reform Project, Mr. Babur Ali, Director TT, representative from different development partners, distinguished guests from home and abroad, honorable participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good evening. In this august occasion, at the very outset, I welcome all of you and extend our thanks and gratitude from the organizations of the International Conference as well as on behalf of Bangladesh Technical Education Board. Such international TVET conference, first of this kind held in Bangladesh, for this I must congratulate the organizers again, especially to the IDB, CPSC, ILO, World Bank, State, and the other counterparts. The main thrust of this international conference is TVET for Sustainable Development. TVET work for skills development in order to make the young generation employed, self-employed, and a poverty-free nation. TVET that offered is best embodied in the Chinese proverb, give a man a fish and will eat for a day. Teach him how to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. TVET is doing such tremendous job which make people self-reliant and sustainable. The sustainable development is that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Bangladesh enjoys very youthful population. UN population division forecast that youth population of Bangladesh would be 28.7% by the end of 2015. But nearly 1/3 of Bangladeshi youth are either unemployed or underemployed. Female youth having a higher rate of unemployment than their male counterparts. Considering the fact, we need to build a skill culture throughout the country. Our government is working towards making a digital Bangladesh. To materialize this dream, we have to produce more and more digital manpower, which could be happen only by the TVET family of the country. It is my firm belief that the outcome of 3 days international conference on TVET for sustainable development would be able to show the right way to realize our dream with no time. We will learn, listen, and gather experience from other advanced countries. But we have to think, act, and design programs in our own way. We have to work together with public and private sector, development partners, industry, different ministries and departments, NGOs and others. We should keep in mind the majority TVET service providers belong to private sector. To realize the Vision 2021 of our government that the enrollment rate to be increased from 8% to 20% by 2021. We should give due attention and importance for the upliftment and capacity building of private TVET service providers. With these few words, I would like to conclude here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abdul Bakhtar. Ladies and gentlemen, now I may humbly request to Professor Dr. G.K., Faculty Consultant, CBSE Manila, to deliver his valuable speech. Mr. G.K.
Good evening to one and all. Respected Chairman of the session and Chairman of Steering Committee of International Conference of TVET for Sustainable Development and President IDEB, Engineer A.K. M.A. Hamid sir. Respected Chief Guest Minister for Industries, Senator Al-Haj Amir Hussain Amu MP sir. Respected Special Guest Mr. Muhammad Zaria Alam MP, Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs. Respected Special Guest Mr. Muhammad Nazrul Islam Khan, Honorable Secretary Minister of Education. Dr. Muhammad Abdul Hamid, Joint Secretary of PTEB, Author Azrias NSDC, and respected Mr. Babar Ali sir, Director DPE, Mr. Zezza from ILO, respected General Secretary Muhammad Samshud Khan, distinguished delegates of Colombo Plan Staff College member countries, SARC Diploma Engineers from SDEF, Australia and UK, representatives of print and electronic media, dear colleagues, member engineers, learned participants, good evening all. On behalf of our Director General, Colombo Plan Staff College, Dr. Naik, and on behalf of other faculty members and all CPSC member country participants, we wish to thank Engineer A.K. M.A. Hamid for initiating the idea of conducting this international conference in collaboration with Colombo Plan Staff College. As our Director Dr. Naik sir told, so they have initiated and most part of the work was done by Mr. Hamid sir and his team members. We wish to thank him and all the members of IDEB for making this conference a successful one. So all our member country participants are really very happy with the knowledge they have got received from the conference and regarding the hospitality provided by the IDEB team members. So I am happy that all of us got very good impression about Bangladesh and especially about IDEB. I am sure with the help of our DG and with the help of President IDEB, we will have more such conferences in future as a regular activity. And we wish to thank all the chief guests, special guests and all the officials who have come from different organizations like ILO and all the different co-partners for making this conference a grand success. So I am sure that CPSC will have more collaboration with Bangladesh, IDEB and DTE and will try to conduct more programs in future. Thank you and all. Thank you.
Many thanks to Dr. D.K. Ladies and gentlemen, now I may humbly request to Mr. Arthur Ishiars, ILO Dhaka, to deliver his speech. Mr. Arthur Ishiars.
Good evening, everybody. This is a very big hall. Can everybody hear? Can everybody see? Okay. Thank you, head table guests, and if I can, with your permission, just proceed with my few comments. Thank you. I am not wearing my glasses this evening, and I have a very small few words to say. But I do see IDEB I see IDEB on the banner here, but my memory is very bad. So let me see if I can remember what the first letter of IDEB stands for. Industry. It must be industry. And I need to mention the Industry Skills Council. Industry Skills Council is one way for Bangladesh training institutions to link with industry. D, there's a D in IDEB. I think the D must stand for development, as in the National Skills Development Policy, which was approved by the Honorable Prime Minister in 2011. E must stand for excellence, as in the National Quality Assurance System for Bangladesh, which is part of the National Skills Development Policy. And the last letter is B. I think B stands for Bangladesh. Now, I'm going to ask you, what does this label say on my shirt? Made in Bangladesh. What is written on the bottom of my shoes? Made in Bangladesh. But you know what? That's not so important. What is most important here, ladies and gentlemen, is you, people out there. You are the educators of Bangladesh. You have to show quality and energy and enthusiasm and teach that to your students. So your students will leave their institutions, and just as we're proud of Bangladeshi shirts and proud of Bangladeshi shoes, we need to be proud of Bangladeshi students, made in Bangladesh.
Many thanks to Mr. Arthur Sheikh. Ladies and gentlemen, now I may humbly request to Mr. Babur Ali, Director of Planning and Development, Director of Technical Education, to deliver his valuable speech.
Honorable Chair of the closing session, President IDEB, Mr. A.K. Hamid, Honorable Chief Guest, Laj Amir Senanu, Minister, Ministry of Industries, respected special guest, Mr. Sariar Alam, State Minister, Mr. Arthur Sheikh, Mr. J.K. Kulanthabal, Mr. Samsunama, and other distinguished guests in front of the dais, member of the IDEB and member of print and electronic media. Assalamu alaikum and very good evening for all of you. This is an international conference arranged by IDEB and the Colombo Planning Staff College, actually to share the views of the TVET stakeholders of this region. As far I know, about 20 countries has joined this occasion, and in some of the occasions I have joined and I presented a paper also. In most cases I found that the TVET sector in Asia Pacific region, the issue, challenges and other problems are more or less similar. That is why we have learned about the TVET of India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, even Singapore also. For Honorable Chief Guest, I'd like to mention that we have developed the National Skill Development Policy. We have plan to implement it. We have prepared the action plan, but what we need, we want to actually implement our skill development policy under the leadership of National Skill Development Council. And what we need to emphasize here, actually we need to increase the capacity of our TVET sector, because our capacity is not up to the mark. We need to increase the enrollment, because we want to go to 20% enrollment in TVET, which is now only 8%. We want to make the skill all class of our skill manpower. We want to increase the participation of female in TVET sector, because it is around 24% now, but we want to make it 50% by 2030. So we need to do a lot of works, and for the betterment of TVET, we have actually collaborating with some of the international organizations like Nanyang Polytechnic Institute. Sir, for your information, we have already signed an MOU with Nanyang Polytechnic International to train our teacher in this scheme. So this is the major progress of the government. So I would like to conclude that we are going in the right track. Our government is very much eager to develop the skill of our country in the world-class model. So I hope we will be able to proceed very fast. Thank you very much for listening to my speech. Thank you.
আমি সদস্য প্রকৌশলীদের দৃষ্টি আকর্ষণ করছি, আমাদের স্পেশাল গেস্ট এখন বক্তব্য রাখবেন। দয়া করে আপনারা আপনাদের স্ব আসন গ্রহণ করুন এবং নীরবতা রক্ষা করুন। প্লিজ সাইড টক করবেন না। আমাদের মেহমান আছেন, বিশেষ অতিথিবর্গ আছেন, এখন আমরা তাদের বক্তব্য শুনব। Distinguished guests, foreign delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Now I humbly request Mr. Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP, Honorable State Minister, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to deliver his valuable speech. Mr. Shahriar Alam MP.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Amir Hussain Amu, MP, Honorable Minister for Minister of Industries, and obviously, as we all know, that just mentioning that he is a minister and MP doesn't truly reflect what truly he is. I'm sure for many of you, as he is my mentor too, and he's a mentor for many of us, for the new generations. So, Honorable Chief Guest of this international conference on TVET, Honorable President and General Secretary of IDEB, we have representative from Nanyang Polytechnic, representative from ILO, dear participants, Excellencies, and visiting faculty and members of 20 different countries. And obviously, we have a handful of diploma engineers here out of over 400,000 diploma engineers that country has produced in the last 44 years. At this concluding session, I was told that this is the first of its kind in Bangladesh, and especially for our local Bangladeshi diploma engineers, and as well as for our foreign friends who are participating here. I'm sure you have noticed that the very event was inaugurated by none other than Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina herself. And along the way, during the course of the last 3 days, quite a few cabinet ministers, state minister has graced different occasions, different session of this 3 days event. That simply tells you the importance that this government is putting on the technical education and vocational training and education, TVET. And it's, I understand by going through these papers for the last few minutes that ILO has been of great help and support who has initiated this endeavor. I have gathered also that almost 10 different sessions took place and 48 different papers, research papers and experience sharing was presented. And you have covered many issues from sustainable development to green growth to entrepreneurship to efficiency, and you have covered many other areas. As you have gathered as well, and as you know, that Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has declared back in 2008, almost the end of 2008, before he took over the responsibility to govern the country in January 2009. We have set out a target that we want to become a middle-income country by 2021, and we want to join in the rich club, the elite club of developed countries by 2041. And I'm sure you all know by now, I was briefed and updated that the development work that goes through in Bangladesh, I'm not sure about the countries where participants are participating from, apart from 17 members, the other 3 countries including Australia and Singapore, and as far as from Canada that they participate, that 85% of our development works are directly done and supervised by you guys, the diploma engineers of Bangladesh. That simply tells you the challenges and responsibilities that you have. And I'm sure that you are carrying that well. And the landmark projects that the government of Bangladesh has undertaken, whether, just to name a few, right across this hotel we have these fantastic flyovers that was built by Bangladeshi engineers. Then we have this Hathir Jheel project, the landmark project of Bangladesh done by Honorable Prime Minister's government, Sheikh Hasina's government. And we have undertaken another project. It's the largest bridge that we are going to build, and it's quite complex by nature. I'm a student of business. I don't understand the technicality of engineering, but anyone can understand building a bridge over any river in Bangladesh, where the soil is not very stable and it's very difficult to do the embankment before we take any mega projects. We have undertaken this huge, over 6 kilometer long Padma Bridge project, where it's not only just road connectivity, it's a rail connectivity as well. It's not only that we are building this bridge using our own finance, but a lot of local engineers are involved, and they are already doing the approach roads that they have started. Yes, it's all right that a Chinese company will be executing the project, but I'm sure many hundreds of local engineers, and at least we have a number that at least 85% of those engineers will be diploma engineers who are members of this ITEB. But obviously any responsibility comes with many other challenges and a lot of aspirations. We have these challenges in hand that by 2021 we want to make Bangladesh a poverty-free country, a middle-income country, and as quite rightly pointed out by Mr. Arthur Raul of ILO, that even though we all know that what IDEB stands for, it's Institution of Diploma Engineers of Bangladesh, but keeping Bangladesh constant, he has given his own view, and I'm sure all of us will agree with him that what IDNE ideally should stand for. And that's the aspiration that we all set out to do, and I'm sure with the leadership that IDEB currently has, that they had in the past, and if needed, if they will have in the future, that they will guide the young engineers. And government of Bangladesh, under the leadership of our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, we have started encouraging private diploma schools, and many of the senior member of IDEB went on to set up their own diploma engineering colleges. And we now have over 75,000 engineers, diploma engineers, coming out of these institutions. And we have almost 400 plus institutions. Out of that, only about 30 odd to be government, and 49 government, and about 400 private institutions. I think it's very important to maintain the quality of education. And I can see most of the members present here today, not just on the head table, but in front of us, are our senior diploma engineers. I think you have a responsibility alongside the government technical board. The secretary is present here. It's very important to maintain the quality of the education that we provide from these, especially the private schools. We have a very painful experience from private universities where the graduates are not as good or as qualified as the public universities. So I think you have a challenge in hand to make sure that the private schools produces the similar quality of diploma engineers, if not better, in coming years. I wish you well. I don't want to go on. I'm not a specialist in this subject, but keeping food waited to be eaten, I'll take it. You had 3 long days. I hope the foreign friends have enjoyed the hospitality despite all the limitations that we have in this very populous country, especially the capital Dhaka. But I'm sure and convinced that IDP has done its best to give and treat you well, and I can just reassure you from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we'll be doing everything possible to make the life easier for the diploma engineers and IDEB. And thank you very much. In these few words, I conclude.
Many thanks to Mohammad Shahrial MP for his valuable speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now I will humbly request to Honorable Chief Guest, Alhaj Amir Hussain Amu MP, Honorable Minister of Justice, to deliver his valuable speech. Alhaj Amir Hussain Amu MP.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Chairperson of today's closing ceremony, Engineer A.K. Hamid, special guest Mr. Shahrial Alam, MP, Honorable State Minister of Foreign Affairs, distinguished guests from home and abroad, dear participants, representing from the media, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good evening to all. I am delighted to be a part of the August gathering organized in connection with the closing ceremony of the International Conference on TVET for Sustainable Development. Thanks to the leadership of Institution of Diploma Engineers, Bangladesh IDB and Colombo Plan Staff College CPSC Manila for organizing this important event. It is really a kind initiative and should be commended. Ladies and gentlemen, the present government of Bangladesh under the dynamic and visionary leadership of Prime Minister Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina is working diligently with the great responsibility of making Bangladesh an industrialized country by the year 2021 and a developed country by the year 2041. Our motto is to improve the living conditions of our common people through building a poverty-free, stable, democratic, peaceful and harmonious Bangladesh. We are committed to the nation to build up a knowledge-based society. We want to transform our present economy into knowledge, based on through meaningful industrialization all over the country in order to materialize the dream of present government into reality, the needs of trained, efficient, skilled and knowledgeable human resources with technical and vocational education increasing gradually. We all know the value of having a skilled workforce in the country. Skills development is an important instrument for socio-economic development and poverty reduction. Our government recognizes the importance of skills development through the establishment of the National Skills Development Council and international and implementation of free technical and vocational education and training projects with the financial and technical support of the European Commission and the Asia Development Bank and the World Bank. Considering the positive role of TVET in reducing poverty, our government is working together with the EC, ILO, ADB, WB and other development partners. In addition to this, we have taken various steps in order to promote TVET by our own resources. We have taken the initiative to set up technical and vocational schools and colleges at Upazila level We have already activated the existing TTC for creating technical know-how at the grassroots level so that more people can acquire employable skills, and this does generate income through ways earning jobs of self-employment. We consider our youth manpower as one of the main strengths of our economy. It is the population that acts as entrepreneur, labor, and creates local market. Keeping that in mind, the government has been arranging technical and vocational education for the youth of the country and turning them into competitive workforce in the international labor market. As a result, our youth are competing more and more market in the world, especially in the Middle East, Malaysia, and Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that presentations that have been made in this conference by distinguished experts and participants on TVET were very informative, useful, and enlightening. It would eventually assist different stakeholders in obtaining new perspectives of TVET sector. In Bangladesh, TVET includes two major forms: vocational and technical education and formal education system, and training outside the formal system of education. As I understand, the objective of the conference was to enhance the growth of both the forms, aiming to ensure sustainable socio-economic development. I am confident that the issues and recommendations that have been identified in the last 3 days would help us in prioritizing in immediate attention, facilitate process to strengthen partnerships among the various stakeholders and design effective modalities and improve TVET-related decision-making procedures. I would expect that this event would help us in fixing the more effective means of achieving tangible progress in the TVET sector, especially the target of raising the number of technical workforce from existing 8% to 20% by the year 2021. I assure you that our government will actively consider the recommendation of this conference. Let me conclude by saying that the government is firmly committed to dissolve the disparity between the educational system and the labor market through the development of a proper TVET system that is easily accessible, affordable, and relevant to labor demand needs. I would once again like to thank the Institution of Diploma Engineers, Bangladesh IDB, for its pioneering role of organizing the international conference. I also appreciate the CPSC, ILO, TTE, BTEB, STEF, HTB, NSDC, and Education Ministry for their tremendous support and cooperation for making this event a successful one. With these few words, I would like to conclude my speech. Thank you all for your kind attention. Jai Bangla, Jai Bangabandhu, Jai Bangladesh.
Many thanks to Alhaj Muhammad Amirushan Amu MP and Ministry of Industries. Ladies and gentlemen, now I will request to Chair of the session, Engineer A.K. Hamid, Chairman, Conference Steering Committee, to give his valuable speech. Mr. A.K. Hamid.
Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, namaste. Very good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Our honorable chief guest of this session, our beloved leader, Mr. Amirushan Amu, our very young and pragmatic leader of the people, Mr. Shahriar Alam, MP, State Minister, our representative from ILO, BTEB, DTE, and foreign guests from 20 countries, media people, print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. It is really pleasure for us. Mr. Amir Hossain Amu, the people knows Mr. Amir Hossain Amu as the second man in the cabinet. So we are very much proud of it. Our Honorable Prime Minister, জননেত্রী শেখ হাসিনা, সারা বাংলাদেশের মানুষের জন্য যিনি স্বপ্নদ্রষ্টা, he was chief guest in our inaugural session. It is really a pleasure for us also. The second man of the cabinet, Mr. Amir Hossain Amu, is very kind to be us in this evening. We are grateful to you, sir. Thank you very much for your kind presence. We are very much thankful to our MP and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Shahriar Alam, to be with us in this evening. I am very much grateful to Foreign Ministry. I must say we are very much grateful to Foreign Ministry as because some visa problem was there. While Afghanistan, Mongolia, Fiji, while they are not, they are thinking to, as they are not getting visa. So problem was there. So we discussed the Foreign Ministry. Mr. Shahriar Alam and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Secretary, all the employees help us too much. For that reason, they will come and join us. Thank you very much, Mr. Shahriar Alam, Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs, for your kind care. Honorable Chief Guest, about 10 thematic area was there. Within this 10 thematic area, about 53 papers were presented. 2 plenary session was there, and 2 panel discussion was there. The expert from Bangladesh on Tibet and all the experts from abroad, they participated and presented very valuable paper. I am very much thankful to our participant foreign guests who pay their time and valuable time for Bangladesh, not only Bangladesh, but for the human being, I would say. For the better life of the human being, technical education is very much important. So, I think the participant, for our foreign guests who were kind enough to participate in this international conference, I will say they pay their time for the better life for the human being. So we are thankful very much to our foreign guests. Honorable Chief Guest and distinguished guest, the participant, the learned participant, what they present, we can sum up this with some points like that: transforming TVET to respond to our changing world. Changing world is important. The word of changing world. It is not for climate changing only. It is the changing world for every step of life. It is changing as because of development of science and technology. So it is required. It is the essential part of human beings to transform the present Tibet education system as per requirement of the changing world. Skill development for the youth. It is also given direction from this conference. How Tibet can be more responsive to the economy and society. It is discussed. Tackling social inequality, tackling social and inequality and exclusion. I don't know in our what other country is happening. In Bangladesh and Bangladesh, India and Myanmar, nearby country, we are in a nearby country, we find the social exclusion is main pathetic scenario for which skill is not developing. In our country, Honorable Chief Guest, we have a misconception that the technical education is meant for the school drop only. Technical education is meant for the underprivileged people. But you see, in the world, like Japan, America, Australia or Germany, this misconception they don't believe. In my country and nearby country, this misconception is there. We are using technology every day, but we don't like to take the skill. This is happening for Bangladesh. And this conference discussed many things, and promotion, innovation, entrepreneurship in TVET education and training is essential. This conference discussed this thing. How TVET can ensure better quality teaching and learning process. This is also discussed. TVET for skill development and lifelong learning, how it can be. It is also discussed. TVET policy advice related capacity development and good governance. It is also discussed. Bridging the gap between research and policy development. There is some gap in all this country. Researcher and development people who are working with development process, there is a gap. This point is discussed under this 10 thematic area. As because this is closing session, I will not go for the long discussion, but Honorable Chief Guest, about skill it is discussed very seriously. All the discussion taken seriously about the skill. Skill is important. I am not talking about skill that is, we know skill is two types of skill, vocational skill and soft skill. Skill is required from the secretary to MLSs. All government officer should have skill. Not only government sector, in private sector, all sector skill is required. Not only vocational skill. Everywhere skill is important. Honorable Chief Guest, I like to inform you, I think you know, in Bangladesh and surrounding country, the 47 agricultural workers, what they are producing, only 4 agricultural workers of Australia, they produce that thing. Our skill level is so low. We can think what is the production cost become if the skill level is so low. For that reason, skill is very much important to fulfill the dream of the Sheikh Hasina. As because জননেত্রী শেখ হাসিনা যে বিষয়টি চায় সেটা হলো বাংলাদেশের মানুষের অর্থনৈতিক মুক্তি দিতে চায়। বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান স্বাধীন সার্বভৌম বাংলাদেশ আমাদের দিয়ে গেছেন। জননেত্রী শেখ হাসিনা বঙ্গবন্ধুর সেই অসমাপ্ত কাজটি জননেত্রী শেখ হাসিনা বাংলাদেশের মানুষের অর্থনৈতিক মুক্তি দিতে চায়। আর সেই কারণেই ইমিডিয়েটলি আমাদেরকে জাম্প করা দরকার স্কিল লেভেলটাকে ডেভেলপ করার জন্য ফর হ্যাভ ক্যাপাবিলিটি, ফর হ্যাভ প্রোডাক্টিভিটি। Without higher productivity, we cannot go ahead. It is necessary and essential, Honorable Minister, sir. I will request our Minister for Industry and Foreign Minister. We need some give some employability of the young people. For this reason, for the skill development, we are talking about Nanian Polytechnic representative. One director is here with us. How industry and institution collaboration is made in Singapore, Malaysia, Germany. I visit Germany. How technological development they made. How Japan, I visited in 1985 in Japan. How they go ahead. You know, from India, they are taking raw steel and then producing car and selling to India and Bangladesh and other countries. They have no materials. They even in Japan, they take shawla, পায়ের যেটা লাগে হাঁটতে গেলে নদীতে, সেই shawla তারা খেয়ে জীবন ধারণ করতো. They are the rich people in the world now. So I will cut short my speech. Important Honorable Minister Sir, your assistance and support is required to fulfill the dream of the Sheikh Hasina. বাংলাদেশকে আমরা উন্নত, ধনী, সমৃদ্ধ দেশে রূপান্তরিত করতে চাই আমরা। সেই কারণে আপনার সাহায্য সবচেয়ে বেশি প্রয়োজন। টেকনিক্যাল এডুকেশন ডাইরেক্টরেটের কর্মকর্তারা আছেন, আমি আমাদেরকে রিকোয়েস্ট করবো আপনার সঙ্গে ইমিডিয়েটলি একটা আলোচনা করার জন্য কিভাবে ইন্টার রিলেশন আমরা ডেভেলপ করতে পারি। আমি বক্তব্য শেষ করতে চাই আমাদের সদস্য প্রকৌশলীদের, আমাদের অনারেবল স্টেট মিনিস্টার যে কথাটা বলেছে, একটা বিগ চ্যালেঞ্জ উই হ্যাভ, big challenge we have. The responsibility which is given by Janatri Sheikh Hasina to us as the government given the total responsibility for development work. I like to ask my people, my friends, engineers, whether you are ready to serve the government, to serve the people of this country. Are you ready? Yes. Thank you very much, my dear friends. I will not take more time. Just I like to declare after discussion, 3 days discussion, all the learned participant, researcher, TVET expert from home and abroad, what they discussed, we will compile it, and shortly one small workshop will be there in IDB. I would request our ILO friends, our co-partner from DT and Technical Education Board, our Nanian Polytechnic representative, if possible for them, we will have a workshop shortly to finalize the Dhaka Adaptation Declaration and Recommendation. We will shortly call that workshop, and I think the expert from home and abroad, which will be required, we will send it later, and I think we can finalize this recommendation shortly. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I like to thank again our foreign guests who are very kind to be with us. We have a heart to serve you, very good heart for hospitality, but our General Secretary already said maybe some wrong thing we have done, maybe some inability, for our inability we cannot serve you. So please don't mind and excuse us if any wrong thing is done by you. It is really pleasure. Fiji is very long distance, Australia is very long distance. Our friend from Mongolia, main long distance, they flight and join us. I am very much thankful to all friends, many friends, experts from India government also. Honorable Minister Sir, I already pursued the Indian government of India to take the leadership. That's because they are big country. They should take the responsibility. They should take the responsibility for the human being. And also though it is small, but their per capita income is 52,000. So they are very much rich in the world. They should take the responsibility. So Nanian Polytechnic should come forward to take the responsibility for the human being. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your presence. foreign guests, we are very much grateful to you. Thank you very much. Just this is the conclusion of this the closing session speech, but food is waiting for us. Honorable Minister, sir, we are very much grateful to you both for your coming and joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Guests, ladies and gentlemen, now I cordially invite you all on behalf of IDB to enjoy the dinner. Thank you. Thank you all.
আমি সদস্য প্রকৌশলী ভাই বোনদের অনুরোধ করছি, খাবার শুরু হবে, আপনারা খুবই সুশৃঙ্খলভাবে লাইনে দাঁড়িয়ে খাবার নিয়ে এসে আপনাদের যার যার টেবিলে বসে খাবার গ্রহণ করুন। আপনারা দীর্ঘ সময় নিয়ে বসে খাবেন, ধীরে সুস্থে খাবেন এবং লাইনে যাবেন, কোনোভাবেই যেন কোনো বিশৃঙ্খল অবস্থার সৃষ্টি না হয় আমি আপনাদের প্রতি বিনীত অনুরোধ রাখছি। সুশৃঙ্খলভাবে ধীরে সুস্থে আপনারা খাবার টেবিলে লাইনে দাঁড়ান এবং আপনাদের খাবার নিয়ে এসে আবার টেবিলে বসে খাবার গ্রহণ করুন।